Overall, I wouldn't consider myself a fan of Final Fantasy. There are a couple I like, and many more I kind of like or semi-dislike in a way that still makes it interesting to me. I almost always like them for their striking, often bizarre visuals, and they consistently have excellent scores, but the only one I can say I truly love as a whole is 7, which I know isn't the most original take, since that's the one everyone loves, but I genuinely think that game is brilliant, though certainly not without its problems, namely its terrible pacing where everything takes longer than it needs to, and the occasional weird-sounding line that seems like a questionable translation. Of the pre-7 games, I respect the first for its historical significance, but it's nonetheless a bit dull and tedious for me, so I never finished it. I got a couple hours in many years ago and have been meaning to give it another chance ever since, but I still haven't. 3 I played the DS port of years ago and did enjoy, but I haven't played 2, 4, 5, or 6, and I really should get around to at least 6 someday because people love that one. Update. Since recording this intro, I have now played FF6, and I kind of loved it. It didn't totally blow my mind or anything, but I am glad I finally got around to it because it is really good. Although interminably wandering the veldt, desperately hoping for the right encounter and for Gao to reappear on the right encounter so he can learn the abilities you want, is one of the most awe-inspiringly tedious wastes of time I have ever witnessed in a mainstream video game, especially when some of the encounters can't be run away from, thus forcing the possibility of Gao returning on a fight you don't want him to, just to waste even more of your time. And when he finally does show up, his pointless text scrolls as slowly as it possibly can, just to waste even more of your time. But it is the only thing in the game that frustrating, and it's technically optional, although it makes that character so obscenely powerful that it is worth doing. Here he is killing a boss in one hit. But holy fuck, it is face-meltingly boring to train him. But pretty much everything else is fantastic. It's incredible that a game that's older than I am could be the most engaging thing I've played recently, so there's that. But back to the original intro from 2022 now. Of the post-7 ones, I could never get into 8, and I tried more than once. 9 I outright dislike, mostly because I find nearly every character to be obnoxious and unlikable, especially the protagonist, and the character design is unconscionably ugly even though the environments look really good, although to be fair, I haven't finished it yet. I'm currently on disc 3. 10 I have mixed feelings about. There's stuff to like, but it also suffers from an obnoxious protagonist.
Irritating. I know.
10-2 is delightful schlock that I love more than I should, though I've only seen part of it. 11 I've never played because I hate MMOs. 12 I have very mixed feelings about because I really want to love it, but largely don't. 13 I only played part of before giving up, and I'm somewhere between indifferent and dislike. Although I absolutely love its visual design. 13-2 I've never played. 14 I've never played because I hate MMOs, and 15 I mostly enjoyed, but also feels like a huge missed opportunity, because it's very easy to see how it could have been so much more, and that's disheartening in a way that really takes the wind out of its sails, even though there is still good fun to be had. It's blatantly unfinished from a narrative standpoint, but as usual, it's visually glorious, though occasionally stylistically muddled, and it has an excellent score, even that one piece that sounds like the Elder Scrolls theme. Although that seems to be either chance or deliberate homage, as where the piece goes from there is extremely different, and the real-time combat was a very welcome change, though, like any open-world game, a huge percentage of its runtime is chores and busy work, like just traveling to your compass marker while nothing happens. And I understand that, as Final Fantasy goes, this one is pretty divisive, or it was at the time. I don't know if that opinion has shifted over time, as these things sometimes do, or if it's just largely forgotten, because I haven't heard its name uttered in a very long time. However, I have an extensive history of liking games that are divisive, so that alone makes me interested. And if nothing else, it will probably look really good and have nice music. For starters, we have a pretty striking cover, even though it's ultimately just a close-up of a miserable face. It's very low-key, the hollow foil gives it a bit of pizzazz, the title font is nice, and the world is burning behind him while he doesn't give a fuck, which tells us, ooh, he's a tortured soul. The majority of the back is dominated by an image that, while nice-looking, is obviously not of the game itself. Even the smaller screenshots at the bottom only show 2 images of actual gameplay, and they're so small and busy I can't tell what's happening. Normally, I would worry this means the gameplay isn't worth showing, but I also know Square Enix is so visual-centric that they would just rather show their really nice pre-rendered stuff, so this isn't as much of a red flag as it would be from another studio. As usual, I have no idea if this disc works. Of course, the character designer's Tetsuya Nomura. Kind of always is. Weirdly, he always gets like a credit on the back for doing that too. Like a specific standout credit. Character design by Tetsuya Nomura. It was like nobody else gets that standout credit. It's not even like that he directed the game. It's weird. I don't know why he gets that. It's often written at like the main menu as well. Oh, look how brooding he is. Okay, I'm assuming this is a montage of clips from the actual game, which means it's actually kind of spoiling shit. It's also a common thing for these games, to do like this sort of attract screen of bits from the game, but like before you've seen them, which is a very odd choice. Although, unsurprisingly, it looks amazing. I mean, like, look at this shit. For the year this game was released, this rendering is, like, fucking amazing. Shame I'm not seeing it in higher resolution. Gacked? It's an interesting name. It's also mononymous, which never doesn't sound pretentious. And so the Hound weaves the final chapter in this tale of life. Speaking of pretentious, that didn't mean anything to me. But it sounded poignant, and that's what really counts here. Ooh. Sexy looking title reveal there. Alright. Tutorial menu, extra features. How about options? Maybe that's under extra features, which would be very silly. No. Watch cutscenes in the main story, view 3D models of the game's characters, listen to music from the game's soundtrack, also known as a score, view artwork used in the game's development, and extra missions. Ooh. Test your skills in a variety of elaborate side missions. Unlock new stages by completing assigned objectives and shooting hidden targets found throughout the campaign. Yeah, I get it. Okay. And look at that. Like I said, right on the title there. Character design, Tetsuya Nomura. But it's like, it's just character design. That's just one of the many, many, many jobs involved in making a game. It's not even like directing or writing or produced by. It's weird he gets that. I don't know if that's like in his contract or something. Let's go to the tutorial menu. Please be aware that explanations in this tutorial utilize the default settings. Settings are adjusted in the config menu or other places. Actual controls may differ from those that are presented here, which is odd because most games can actually change the tutorial to tell you the correct button if you change it. Training mode, live training exercise, comprehensive data on controls. Let's just do training exercise.
Verifying data. Access number GAI012. Good evening, Mr. Valentine.
You're looking angsty as ever, I see.
Manufacturing Tactical Training Facility. Now loading Turk's Administrative Research Department Simulation Program.
Taking your sweet time doing it, apparently.
This exercise will involve the collecting of items as well as simple combat with virtual targets.
Okay.
Please be aware that Shinra Manufacturing is not responsible for any injuries or loss of life caused by the simulation.
So it's not an actual simulation?
If you have any questions during the session, information can be accessed from the TTT terminal.
Talk to the red mini-bot in front of you and engage in pursuit once it begins moving. If you can follow it closely, you will be awarded points. Your objective is to obtain as many points as possible. Do I touch it? Talk. Ah. Oh, and then I have to talk to it at this corner as well. I thought it was just going to do a full lap. Right analog stick camera. Follow the training bot's movements with the camera. Guess in case you didn't know how a camera works in video games. I guess there's always the problem that this could indeed be somebody's first video game they've ever played, so I suppose it doesn't hurt to explain things like this. But it's certainly not the first game I've ever played. L3 reset camera. Pursue the robot using both the left and right analog sticks to control movement. Oh my god, this is so exciting. Click the left analog stick to shift the camera in the direction you are currently facing. We'll follow an even more complex movement pattern. My god, I don't know if I can handle that. Alright, are we done here? I understand movement. The color of the lamp above a door will reveal its status. Blue can be opened, red can be opened only after activating a switch or meeting a similar requirement, and unlit cannot be opened. Up for the map, you can also access the map from the main menu. It is possible to move while the map is being displayed. In which case it drops in opacity. Nice. And then the D-pad scrolls it, because of course the analog stick moves you. Jumping. X button to jump. Jumping allows you to traverse obstacles. I never would have guessed that, even though that doesn't really need to be explained, because that's actually how it works in real life as well. After grabbing hold of a ladder, use the left analog stick to climb up down. Yeah, nothing terribly groundbreaking here. It's a ladder. X button. Shop. You can make purchases, sell items, and modify your weapons at vending machines. That's not a vending machine, that's a jukebox. Right, we can buy potions, we can sell our crap, and not modify because I don't have any parts. Phoenix down. You just obtained Phoenix down. Using this item in advance will instantly revive you with full HP if you are KO'd. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Since we don't have a party, someone can't use it on us, so we would have to be able to queue it up. And then I guess that marker in the HUD means it's been used. Well, that thing is actually three-dimensional. Okay, I was looking at that box from here, and it looked like it was a two-dimensional texture floating above the wall that they put a drop shadow on. But it does indeed have three-dimensional depth. That's weird. It's a real 3D object that doesn't look 3D. I will give the game, it is very smooth. I don't know if it stays this smooth. Square, crouch stand, moving while square, roll. This ability is useful for moving in tight areas. Through training, you may acquire the rush technique. Circle is melee. While not as powerful as gunfire, melee attacks can be crucial to your survival on the battlefield. Defeat the enemies up ahead by using melee attacks. Collect the items they drop. Ooh. I love me a dodge roll in video games. Especially an omnidirectional one like this. Taste my melee attacks, fiend. Already I'm noticing that the jump button and use button being the same button may become a problem. When knocked back, input either of these commands as you hit the ground. X to jump or left analog stick and roll. Talk to the mini-bot and practice recovering. I guess he knocks me down? Okay. Well, the roll didn't quite work. Okay. You can actually just mash it. You don't have to time it right. It doesn't punish you for just hitting it repeatedly. Press circle while in the air to unleash a string of devastating aerial attacks. Ooh. You kind of commit to a direction, though, once you start attacking. You can do chain attacks, but you can't really turn while you're doing them. Yeah, I was pressing right there, and he was still going towards the screen.
Congratulations. Session 1 complete.
Wow, I feel like such a bamf for making it through that.
This exercise will focus on basic features of the handgun.
It shoots things, presumably. Light and easy to handle, these guns are intended for mid-range combat. R1, accurate sight/fire, circle to lower weapon, R2 to reload, L2 to toggle weapons, and R3 to zoom. After pressing R1, your weapon's sight will be displayed. Green, not locked on, red, locked on. While locked on, shooting will be directed towards the center of your sight. When the icon is green, you cannot hit a target, even if it is lined up with the sight. Moving the camera will also adjust the sight. Your next objective is to destroy all the white boxes using precise aiming. It's weird green means you can't hit it. You'd think green means good and red means bad. Okay. This is a little strange the way this works. So the crosshair we have on screen isn't our actual crosshair because once you actually reach a target, you get a sub-crosshair, and your big crosshair just sort of becomes a generalistic area thing, and then the sub-crosshair is what's actually is your actual point of impact, and it's camera independent, unlike this giving the impression that the crosshair is always kind of fixed to the camera position, but here it's really not. Now we will proceed to actual combat. Here your skills will be tested by a unit of training robots. Destroy 8 training robots. The time has come to assess your qualifications as a member of the Turks. Defeating multiple enemies within a specified amount of time activates a kill chain. As the count increases, attack power, firearm magic, and melee rises as well. The increase in power is only applied to the first attack after the chain count is displayed. In hard/extra hard mode, sustaining damage will cancel the bonus. Seems like that should happen on all difficulties, but okay. So basically we have a very generous auto-aim. We don't really need to worry about our crosshair all that much, because we can just get our generalistic crosshair in the sort of area of the enemy, and then that sub-crosshair just takes care of the rest. It's very non-specific in that way, which I suppose helps, because shooters, console shooters from this era, other than Halo, of course, which works perfectly for some reason, the aiming is very stiff and feels very hard to do precisely nowadays when we're used to how much better it's gotten in games. Where like nowadays aiming with an analog stick feels great and you can be very precise because we've really nailed down how to handle things like dead zone and the acceleration curves and such, but in games from this era, it often doesn't hold up. Like, go play an old Medal of Honor and you'll know what I'm talking about, where it's just so stiff and it's really hard to hit things precisely. So that this game does, you know, the auto-aim once you get the crosshair in the rough area, it kind of mitigates that problem because it's not asking that much precision of the player, which I think ultimately will make it more playable. Rifle. Long-range weapons used mainly for sniping. Due to their weight, they are not suitable for firing while moving. Well, neither are handguns, really, if we're being realistic. L2 toggle weapons, you've been issued Sniper Scope, Hydra, and Long Barrel. These parts can be equipped using the customized menu. Oops, I accidentally skipped 2 things there. Damn it. Following is a long-range shooting exercise. You will not be permitted to approach the targets. Destroy 8 training robots, destroy 2 white boxes, and collect 2 boxes of machine gun ammo. Alright. Go down to customize, weapon 2, slap on the scope. Okay. That's all done automatically, by the way. I was not doing that fast because I've never seen that menu before. So how do I use the scope? Oh, that's right, R3. Which feels a little bit soupy, but it works. Ooh, it's a little touchy though. It's not bad for the era. but it's certainly not up to snuff with what we're used to shooters now feeling like. Except, again, Halo, which was also from this era, and inexplicably, the aiming in that game feels perfectly fine. I don't know why Halo got it right and nothing else did. Ooh. Yeah, it's a little snappy. I'm trying to twitch fire and I'm overshooting. Who else wants to die? Oh, you'll do. So our third weapon is just the first one again, it looks like, because we haven't customized it differently.
Congratulations. Session 3 complete.
How many sessions are there?
Session 4.
I feel like I get it.
This exercise will focus on basic features of the machine gun.
Ooh, exciting. This weapon is most effective at close range. It is capable of dealing damage to multiple targets that are clustered together. In case you weren't familiar with the concept of fully automatic fire. You've been issued Griffon and Short Barrel. Destroy 12 training robots, collect 3 materia. Ooh. Though I am really digging this sort of dreamy music here. It's kind of funky yet ethereal. I like it. It's a bit calm though for gunning people down with a machine gun. Several Mako points have appeared. Accumulate MP by stepping onto a Mako point. Using materia-based magic will deplete your MP. Select materia in the customized menu. L1 activates sight for magic. And other than that, it's the same controls as guns. You can also use magic after activating the sight with R1. Oh, okay, it's the same sight. Fire causes an explosion that deals damage to a wide area. Blizzard hones in on a target and deals damage. And Thunder deals damage in a straight line. Which is different than usual. Thunder, typically its benefit is that it's hit scan instead of a fireball that travels. Let's get some MP. And the points just consume, apparently. I thought it was going to be a font I could continuously stand in. Sort of like Medieval and the healing fonts. You will be unable to approach the targets. You must engage them from a distance. Destroy 6 training robots. You are required to finish within the allotted amount of time. Oh my god. Time pressure. And then you attach materia to the gun. Okay, it's like a little keychain on the stock or the grip. Oh, and you actually fire the magic out of the gun. Okay. Fair enough. Limit break. A limit breaker has appeared. Activating a limit break will replenish your HP as well as significantly improve your strength and other abilities, like dowsing and archaeology. Use a limit breaker to trigger your limit break. The effects of the limit break will expire after a set amount of time or can be cancelled manually by entering the command below. L and R1. You will engage a large number of training robots. Destroy 8 training robots, obtain 1 card key. Pay close attention to how your abilities change during a limit break. I feel like that's something that would be hard to miss. Although, how do I use it? So this is one of the odd mechanics for this being a shooter, is you can drop your crosshair and then you have like kind of more typical free movement. And then if you hit L or R1, the crosshair comes up and now you're kind of locked into this shooter perspective where like when you're moving backwards you're still facing forward. And then if you hit the melee button it drops and you have free movement. That's very odd for a third-person shooter. Which also means if you have this sight up, to melee, you have to hit circle twice, because the first one just drops it, and then you can melee.
Session 7. This exercise will focus on the gun turret.
It's a turret with a gun on it. And it has a very low rate of fire as well, for being like a Gatling type machine gun. Excellent. It's a bit devastating, it would seem. Also, wonderfully, it does not require a spin-up, despite being a Gatling type. They don't do that stupid thing where it has to spin up to speed before it starts firing, which is not how these things work in real life. Obviously, the mechanism is tied to the rotation, so if it's rotating, the action is cycling.
Complete.
Therefore, as soon as it's turning, it's firing. That whole spinning up, getting up to speed and then firing, that exists only in video games. So it's nice this one doesn't do that. Mr. Valentine, based on the results of today's training, the following mode is recommended. Hard for advanced players. So, I'm a bit tempted to go with hard like it suggests. But, oh wait, there was another thing in the tutorial menu, wasn't there? Reference mode, comprehensive data on controls. What is this? Oh, it's just like text descriptions of... Oh, okay. Wait, keyboard. Wait, what? What? Keyboard and mouse. What do you... Nobody told me that. Holy shit, that would be amazing. I mean, obviously there are USB ports on the PS2, so it makes sense that I could, but I've never played a PS2 shooter that lets you use a mouse and keyboard. Ooh. The keyboard works. It looks like my mouse doesn't. Let's go back to training and see if this mouse works. It's not lighting up, so I'm assuming it is not working. Unfortunately, it could be that my mouse is new enough that it requires drivers instead of just being like a generic input device. Oh no. Yeah. Mouse clearly not working. I wonder what pause is. I just realized I don't know what pause would be. It's not escape like you would expect. Pause is... Oh! The literal pause button on the keyboard. I mean, I know there is a pause button on the keyboard, but that's very non-standard. In like all PC games, it's just escape. Can I go to a different area of this? Although, yeah, moving... As great as a mouse is for aiming, for like a shooter like this, it's much better than analog stick. Unfortunately, moving with a keyboard is nowhere near as good as an analog stick. So it's like, with a controller, you have better movement. With mouse and keyboard, you have better aiming. It would be amazing if I could combine the two. Like if it would let me move with the PlayStation controller in my left hand, and then aim with a mouse in my right. That would be bitchin'. Which I believe is what Alien Resurrection does, which I talked about when I played through that. Although that, since it's PS1, you can't use a USB mouse, it has to be an actual PlayStation mouse. I don't own one, so I never did get to try that out. Let me try my other mouse. Oh shit, this one works. This is awkward though, because I am not playing this game at a desk. Okay, well, we have a problem. It feels like shit. Oh god, no, it's terrible. Oh, this should be amazing playing a PS2 game with a mouse, and it's just not. In my original footage here, I ramble at great length trying to describe this verbally, but I think a visual aid will be more helpful here because this is both exceptionally strange and also very difficult to convey without you being able to feel it for yourself. The first mouse I tried it with was a Razer Type hand, which doesn't work at all. It doesn't even light up, probably due to its unusual dual sensor design. Next, I tried an old Razer DeathAdder 3.5G, and that's what you see me using in the original footage. It works, but only in the most literal sense, because the mechanics are broken beyond comprehension. It's also reversed vertically for some reason, but you can fix that in the settings. Now, I'm sure you all know how mouse aiming normally works, but let's just go over the core concepts here so we know we're all on the same page. In a normal PC game, the amount your aim moves is directly correlated with how much you move the mouse. So if you move it a small distance slowly, your aim moves a small distance slowly. And if you move it a large distance quickly, your aim moves a large distance quickly. Now, I'm not talking about mouse acceleration here, because mouse acceleration is the work of Satan, and anyone who uses it should be sentenced to death without a trial. I just mean there is a proportional correlation between the speed and distance you move the mouse and the speed and distance the aim moves. So as soon as you get a muscle memory for what that proportion is at a given sensitivity setting, you can move your aim any amount you want just by moving the mouse the required amount, without actually reacting visually to what's on screen. You can do it purely by feel. And this is how I can do these twitch shots here. I'm not reacting visually to how far the crosshair has moved on screen. It's happening too quickly for that. I just know from muscle memory how much I need to move the mouse before clicking to fire, so it can happen far faster than reaction time. This is also why mouse acceleration is problematic. It makes this proportion by which the mouse and the game are correlated variable instead of static, making muscle memory much less reliable. A direct correlation also means you can pull a 180 instantly, which is one of the main advantages of using a mouse instead of a stick. You can turn around as quickly as you can move the mouse, where a stick has a hard limit on how quickly you can turn. Once you've tilted the stick all the way, that's the max speed. The reason Dirge of Cerberus's mouse aiming doesn't work is that it completely lacks this direct correlation. It feels more like you're using the mouse to push the view around with a constant resistance, and the aim speed has a predefined limit, like it would with an analog stick. And by this I mean slow mouse movements result in slow aim movements, but faster mouse movements only result in faster aim movements up to a hard limit. And the limit is pretty low, so you hit it even when moving the mouse fairly slowly. If you instead move the mouse quickly, the aim still only moves at that limited maximum. Once you reach that cap, moving the mouse more doesn't do anything. The extra distance or speed is discarded, and the aim simply moves at the predefined limit you hit sometime before. This also means that if you exceed the cap by a large amount, then nearly all of your movement gets discarded, and thus counterintuitively, the aim hardly moves at all, even though you moved the mouse a lot. This goes against all expectations. If you need to turn around quickly because someone is shooting you in the ass, the natural inclination is to move the mouse quickly. But if you do that, you actually turn around really slowly because most of the mouse movement is discarded. You will, paradoxically, turn much faster by moving the mouse slowly so that it isn't discarded. It's absolutely batshit fucking insane. Essentially, rather than feeling like you're aiming with the mouse, it feels like you're using a mouse to push around an imaginary analog stick that can only be tilted so far, because the game is still operating under the hood with all the rules of an analog stick, including the concept of a limited tilt range, apparently. This makes it impossible to develop a muscle memory for the mouse movement because it's not correlated to the aim in any directly proportional way. It's borderline unplayable. I'm sure you could get used to it if you really wanted to, but there'd be no point. This decorrelated implementation negates the entire benefit a mouse has, so even if you forced yourself to get used to it, it still wouldn't be any better than an analog stick. You still can't turn around instantly because you just hit the same turn speed limit the stick has. Increasing the sensitivity in the options increases the max value, but it otherwise behaves the same way, discarding everything above it. It also moves much faster vertically, which is back-asswards, since in real gameplay you spend a lot more time turning around than you do looking up or down. The majority of action takes place at a similar height to you, so the need for vertical movement is much lower. Personally, I prefer horizontal and vertical sensitivity to be identical with a mouse, but if they're going to be different, vertical should be lower, not higher. This is all so incomprehensibly broken that I wanted to give the game the benefit of the doubt, so I thought maybe this mouse is too new to be recognized properly or needs some sort of driver the PS2 lacks. It's a long shot because the computer mouse is essentially completely standardized and shouldn't need any sort of drivers for basic cursor movement. Drivers are generally for extra features like changing DPI on the fly and RGB lighting. But remember the Taipan didn't work at all, which proves that compatibility issues are possible. So, for the sake of due diligence, I wanted to try something period correct, and although optical designs existed at the time of the PS2, maybe a mechanical mouse would work better. So I got on eBay and tried to find a USB mouse that still had an actual ball, which isn't necessarily that easy because the ball mechanism and the USB connector didn't actually coexist for very long, and I didn't want any kind of adapter adding an extra variable to the comparison. And I was also trying to keep the price low because I was basically going to test it for a few minutes and never use it again. And I ended up with this, an M-UK DEL3, made by Logitech and branded as Dell. It's just about the most basic bitch mouse you could possibly imagine, and exactly the kind of thing that would have been likely to be lying around at the time the PS2 was current. But before using it on the PS2, I wanted to make sure nothing was wrong with it, since it is quite old. And here it is working perfectly on an M2 Ultra Max Studio, although it is slightly too slow even with the macOS sensitivity as high as it goes, and the latency is horrific, which is especially noticeable at 120 Hz. But that a mouse this old does work perfectly on a modern computer is an excellent demonstration of how the mouse design is standardized. Even as they've changed in form factor, speed, resolution, and extra features, the core way they communicate their movement to the computer hasn't actually changed over the years. Nonetheless, it's clearly in perfect working order, so I fired up Dirge of Cerberus, and lo and behold, It's just as fucked up as the Death Adder was. It didn't solve the problem at all. And that is exactly the outcome I expected, because as fucked up as the aiming was with the Death Adder, the cursor in the menu worked normally, aside from being vertically reversed, indicating that there clearly isn't a problem with the way the mouse is being interpreted by the PS2. If this was a compatibility issue, the cursor would have been fucked up too. But I just needed to be sure, because I don't want to call something incompetent and then be wrong. I even went the extra mile and tried it on an original PS2 instead of a Slim, just to be super duper extra special turbo certain, and that made no difference either. So, having given it the benefit of the doubt and engaged in due diligence, I can now confidently say that the mouse implementation in Dirge of Cerberus is an abject fucking failure. That is actually far, far, far worse than using a controller, so I'm going to switch back to a controller, sadly. Got my hopes up that this game would feel great on a mouse and keyboard, and then they fucked it up spectacularly. And back to a controller, which, yeah, that feels infinitely better. Which, oh man, that's like sacrilegious to say that a controller feels better than a mouse and keyboard, but man, it does here. So I've been recording for like 50 minutes, and we're now actually starting the game. This mode offers balanced gameplay and difficulty appropriate for players with little action game experience. Well, that's not me. Refined combat skills will be required for this mode, featuring intensified battles and increasingly powerful enemies. Recommended for players with extensive FPS experience. That would be me. Create save data? Yes. This game is auto-saving whenever this small icon appears in the upper right corner of the screen. I know what an autosave is. Holy crap. It's amazing. Games have been auto-saving for like a bajillion years, and they still explain it every single time. Although I guess that takes me back to what I said earlier, where there is always the chance that this is the first game somebody, a certain person, this may be the first game they've ever played. I mean, everybody has to play something first, right? Commencing setting configuration. Settings may be adjusted later by accessing the config menu. Sound output, Pro Logic, you're goddamn right. Subtitles on, speaker's name, sure, unless it's huge. All right, we're in. I've been recording for almost an hour. Ooh. That's a good shot. Look at that shit. Nice lighting. Unsurprisingly, the game looks great. Well, the pre-rendered stuff. Actually, even the real-time looks pretty good. It's very smooth, as I said.
Hurry up and try not to drop anybody this time. Report.
Look at all that cloth movement, man.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Although it looks like this is cropped from a different aspect ratio. Why is her head off screen?
Clear the red zone.
What is this framing?
We're all done here. How about you?
Oh,
Finished.
yeah. There he is.
I want you to check the Mako cannon.
But we already... What? What the...
Just as I thought.
Hold on. Hold on. This is crazy. There's no way anybody could be up there. No.
Well, apparently there is.
Rendezvous with Cloud and the others. It looks like I still have some work to do.
Hey,
Are her,
whoa.
was that her tits jiggling frantically in the wind? Or was that supposed to be her clothing flapping, even though it's like a tight top? I'm not so sure about that. Rewind that. That looked kind of, well, exceedingly weird. Ooh, POV shot. Nice. I like how low-key everything is. It's very dark and moody, which is appropriate. Looks damn good. And his cloak is badass. I do wish this cutscene was in 16:9, though. It's very uncinematic to see this in 4:3. Obviously, you'd have to letterbox it because the game is running in 4:3, but it would look better that way. Because 4:3 is just intrinsically uncinematic. And it feels very claustrophobic that the frame is so tiny.
Vincent!
Well, at least they remembered she gets motion sickness. The handheld shake effect on the camera is not my thing. I would prefer that wasn't there. It's not like crazy shake. It's not Paul Greengrass shaking all over the place like fucking spastic bullshit, but it's just kind of like the natural sway you would get if you were holding a camera, which is acceptable. I don't despise that, like, shaky cam, which is the more Paul Greengrass thing. But still, it doesn't need to be there. Like, that shot there had no shake and looked great. This one has no shake and looks great. You don't need... The handheld thing is just unnecessary. I know it's done in CG to try to make it look more real, like there's a physical camera, but I disagree with that notion.
We meet again. Lucrezia.
So, this character appears... Lucrezia appears in FF7, but only in optional scenes. Meaning even people who've played the original game might not know who this is.
I'm so sorry.
Why?
This rendering looks so good. I mean, this is 2006. I mean, obviously it looks dated, but it's for 2006, it looks fucking amazing. Also, the bitrate of this video is remarkably good.
However, the group's whereabouts...
Like, I'm not seeing horribly obvious compression artifacts that you usually see in video on PS2 games. So I'm guessing they went ahead and just packed the disc with the data, because the bitrate here is really good.
There are no records of this place located deep beneath the Shinra building, another of the company's secrets revealed recently. According to investigative reports, there is evidence that thousands of people were once transported here. If rumors of the Shinra company conducting human experiments are true...
That moody shot. It's great.
...deeds were carried out.
I just wish it wasn't in 4.3, because that's so boring.
...teamed up with volunteer organization... Oh, wait, I think I see something.
Actually, the Sizzle reel at the start wasn't 4.3, it was in 16.9, because it was letterboxed. Weird. So the Sizzle reel is 16.9 and the game isn't. Pretty damn good cloth simulation there for the time. Good, everyone's out there having fun. I don't even know what fun feels like.
What the heck was that?
Well, an explosion, you idiot. Oh, they're just opening fire. Okay. Wow. I was expecting a get on the ground type thing. Oh no, it's eating his jacket. How many rounds do those 3 barrels hold? Somebody want to explain how this gun works to me? Although that shot was kind of epic. Also, they're mowing some people down and capturing others. And that guy back there is just shooting a fire. I'm not sure why. Alright. His emo-ness is going to save the day.
What's going on?
And this is, of course, is where we get the staggering disparity between pre-rendered and real-time, which obviously is unavoidable, and personally is one of the reasons I actually kind of have problems with pre-rendered cutscenes, is it makes the cut back to gameplay so jarring in a way it wouldn't be if the cutscenes were also real-time. So it's nice that that scene looked really, really good, but these graphics, the real-time graphics, would look much better if we didn't have that comparison. Wanted dead or alive. Unsurprising. Oh, and straight into gameplay. Look at that shit. Excellent. So here's Vincent Valentine. Let me get a nice close shot of him. Yes. There he is, looking like the physical embodiment of angsty recalcitrance. He's actually a really interesting character, because he's the kind of character that's like hugely divisive. You've got basically two groups of people. You've got your school of thought that potion obtained. Yeah, I understand how to use items. There's the school of thought that really likes Vincent because they identify with the sort of dark, brooding thing. And then you've got your crowd that is either indifferent to him or actively hates him because it comes across as like try hard and lame. I guess I fall into the former category. The angsty brooding thing actually does work for me. I do want to turn up the sensitivity. Sight speed. Let's turn that up a bit. I don't know how coarse these sliders are. Let's have camera higher than sight, because I'm just running around. There's no reason for it to be slow. Oh yes, that's much better. Again, the vertical seems, like the mouse, the vertical seems touchier than side to side, which usually it's the other way around. They make the horizontal more sensitive than vertical because you're more likely to be looking side to side than up and down, so typically it's okay to make the vertical slower. Already getting multiple potions. How much does a potion actually heal, though? A few HP. Could you be more specific, please? Like, just give me a real number. Especially since my health bar isn't just a generic bar, it's actual numbers. So just tell me what they are. Yeah, and all three of our gun slots are the same, because I haven't customized anything in any way.
Now where am I supposed to meet Reeve?
That doesn't really mean anything to me. Other than, I guess, go to the blinky thing, but the level looks pretty linear anyway, so that's inevitably where I would end up anyway. Can I break these? No. Protect the civilians. Oh god. Hopefully this isn't something I can fuck up horribly. Did I save you? Looks like I did. Now I need to know, is it possible for me to kill the civilians accidentally, like in Crossfire? Or is friendly fire not a thing here? Interestingly, I am almost dead. Okay, they do 200 HP, which actually isn't very much. This has more range than I expected. Although I don't get a zoom because the zoom button just kicks me into first person. So you would need a scope to gain any sort of magnification. Which does make sense, but there's a lot of games where you can inexplicably zoom in on a pistol sights. Although I have to say, the graphics are quite good for it running so smoothly. MP. Which it's going to explain, which makes me feel like an idiot for bothering with the tutorial. Oh god, I keep wanting start to be the menu, and it's not. Customize. Let's put the fire materia on here. Why not? Excellent. It has some splash damage. I don't know if I'm going the right way, or if this is a secret way for items. Oh, there's a kid here.
Thank you.
Well, you're not out of it yet. You could still get shot on your way out, but yeah, you're welcome. I'm sure he'll be fine. Cannot jump on those crates, which is a bit odd.
Are they still out there?
Well, they might be. I killed a bunch, but...
Not anymore.
Well, there might be. You might want to be a little more,
All right.
Tell them to be a little more cautious.
Yeah.
Don't just tell them it's safe when it might not be. Vincent's a bit of a dick, it would seem. Yeah, it looks like the Mako points are just, like, single use. Although, presumably there will be ethers to fill your MP bar manually. Because otherwise there would be a very limited ability to use magic in this game. Since it does not regenerate over time at all, it looks like. Shoot the barrel, thank you. Because the crosshair is so generous with its auto-aim, it's actually difficult to hit a barrel if it's decided to lock onto an enemy. And I can't pick up this potion even though I only have 4. So you can only carry 4 potions. That is shockingly low, considering you can consistently carry 99 in Final Fantasy games. Electromagnetic barricades are used by Deep Ground to hinder the progress of their enemies. Card keys, yes. I guess that was a critical hit, but I don't know why it happened. Are they just random? Random critical hits would be an odd choice for a shooter. Obviously, it's the only way to do it, really, in a turn-based game, but that's not what we're doing here. Could you not? No, it looks like it didn't kill anyone, though. Surprisingly ineffectual gunship. I can't talk to you? Oh, come on. I'm sure Vincent would have some calming, reassuring words to say, like, "Get over it, you pansies." Limit break ready. Activate Vincent's limit break and transform into the powerful Galian beast by using the limit breaker. Vincent will return to his normal form after a set period of time. Yeah. That's actually a more specific description than we got in the tutorial, which again makes me wonder why I bothered with the tutorial. Why even put a tutorial in the game if you're going to explain everything in the single player anyway? The reason I even did the tutorial is because I assumed its existence meant they weren't going to explain everything in the actual campaign. And then they do. Dumpster is open. They actually made 2 different models. Look at that. So if I can only carry 4 potions, I'm wondering if I can actually carry only 1 limit breaker. If we're putting really low, caps on how many you can carry of items. Well, one said clean and the other said something detected, but I didn't quite catch it because it was jittering around. Did it kill her, or is it just, like, mouthing at her? Oh no, it's apparently dragging you, no! Oh, you bitch. Oh, are you alive? Oh, I guess it just bit your shoulder and you're fine. Alright. Okay, so how do I open this container? It's a potion I can't carry. Oh, that's gonna get really annoying if I'm always at capacity for items. Oh, he's in the window. You blend in 480i. I'm sorry. Ooh, 400 damage. Yeah, I'm guessing the criticals are just random. Since I don't have precise control over aim, since it's largely auto-aim, it's not like I can get hit. Oh, that doesn't pause the game. Oh. I didn't realize that didn't pause the game. I don't think you can get criticals, like, manually by getting headshots, because the aim just isn't that specific. Unless I disabled that auto-aim entirely, I suppose. Maybe I could get headshots. But I'm going to assume for now the criticals are random. So are these enemies infinite? How do I open this? Oh, I just use it? Oh. What's the timer? What's the timer? Is it going to explode? Do I need to get her out of there before it runs out, or is it just telling me how long it takes the door to open? Oh, I guess it was just telling me how long it takes the door to open, but why would I need to know that? I can just see it open, naturally. There's a card key. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm blowing through all of my ammo quite badly. Got a high potion. Can only carry 2 high potions? Wow. Hopefully that's a thing I can upgrade, because that's going to drive me absolutely insane.
Mommy!
Amazingly, she's not dead. Oh yeah, they did bug her off. Didn't even get a fucking thanks. Please give me bullets. Or money. That's good too. Maybe one of the things we can buy is more storage space. That would be very nice. They're just standing here pointing their guns at me, not doing anything, but I'm definitely in peril. Die, potatoes. That'll teach you to point your guns uselessly at innocent civilians.
You should be alright.
Now get the fuck out of here. Oh, that cape swoosh. Like he's really worried about impressing some kid. And we have a scope. Equip this item by accessing the customized... Yeah, we know this. I don't know what this slot is. That was not shown to me in the tutorial. What does WT mean? We have speed, power, range. Oh, weight. Okay, I get it. I was like, what is WT? Because it went down. Ah, yeah, the sniper scope adds weight, which actually gives us a lower weight rating rather than a higher one. So obviously, I mean, that makes sense because a low weight is good. But I noticed that the weight spec was going down, and that's what was confusing me. Wow. Already, I'm impressed by the body count in this game. And then the card key is just sitting in the open. Nobody even had... Yeah, so far, it's weird. We're just like blocking areas off with, you know, burning crater, and then card key was just sitting on the ground spinning. It has weirdly arcadey level design. Like, it's... I feel like I'm playing an arcade game where it's all very linear and transparently gamey, where like items and power-ups are just sitting on the ground. Can I not shoot these? Oh shit, am I out of range, I guess? Oh crap, I'm out of ammo. Oh, but my other guns have ammo. Okay. That was weird. They were just out of range. Well, I'm sorry I couldn't save the other ones, but you'll do, I guess. Well, piss, I'm out of ammo. Melee it is, I guess. Unfortunately, the gun is taking multiple shots, multiple ammo per shot, which is why I'm blowing through it so badly. Even though it doesn't actually appear to have a shotgun effect, which you would suspect from the ammo count, so... Oh, actually it does have a shotgun effect. Okay, I take it back. Is that a thing I can adjust? I don't really need that, honestly. It's just wasting my ammo. Oh, shit ton of handgun ammo. That's good. Phoenix down. I suppose I should just... If I already have one, I should use it. And then pick this one up. Cool. I don't think the Phoenix down wears off, or if it does, the tutorial didn't tell me. So I'm guessing I should just always have one queued up. There's really no reason not to. Long barrel obtained. Increases the weapon's power as well as... Wow, they actually got that first part right. That's a thing games typically don't get with barrel length, is generally in games, barrel length really only affects accuracy. Ooh, what's that? How would I get that? Oh, I just shoot it. What is it? Alright, maybe it's something that unlocks an extra feature. But that's something in video games that lets you customize, like, barrel length. Typically, they make the barrel length only affect accuracy, whereas in real life, your accuracy is pretty much gonna be what it is. Barrel length in real life actually affects the kinetic energy, the power of the round, because a longer barrel means it has more time. There's more time for the explosion to accelerate the bullet before it exits the barrel. Because as soon as the bullet exits the barrel, the pressure drops and it's no longer being accelerated by the explosion. So it's interesting, long barrel in this game actually does affect power. That's a thing games usually fuck up. Although I forgot to put it on before this fight, and since the customize menu does not pause the game, I have a bit of an issue. And there is no auto-aim on those. Get closer so I can kill you. Actually, it looks like there is auto-aim, it's just not doing the sub-crosshair thing. Or not. Oh, wow, their homing is actually much better than I expected. It's weird, I do a little dash instead of a roll like I did in the tutorial. Oh god. Stop distracting me with missiles. Okay, yep, I get it. He does a little end run where he gets close enough to shoot him, but he fires the missiles to make you go after them instead of shooting him for the brief window you can. So this is going to take a while, sadly. I'll just let him blow up that building instead of hit me. It's fine, I'm sure no one's inside. Damn it. I wonder if a limit breaker would be worth using here. I'm assuming the limit break form has inferior ranged attacks? Because at least in, you know, Final Fantasy VII, When he's the, what is it called, Galian Beast, it's actually much less effective for certain types of enemies. Generally anything that requires range. Because he like switches to pure melee, I believe. At least from what I recall. Admittedly, I don't really use Vincent in FF7. We have a second form. It's really weird. This game feels like it's in widescreen and it's been squeezed. I mean, there's no widescreen settings, so I don't think it does support widescreen, but everything feels too narrow. Like, everything's very skinny, like it's been squished horizontally, which is what anamorphic widescreen would do on a PS2, but there's no widescreen option. So I don't know why it looks like that's been enabled when clearly it wouldn't be. I think it's just a quirk of the design in this game that everything looks too skinny. Because the circle crosshair in the middle does look like a circle. It's not like a horizontally narrow oval like it would be if this was anamorphic. Okay, well, fire seems to get the job done. Which is a little odd. I wouldn't expect fire to do much damage to a helicopter, honestly. I mean, like a continuous burning would, but just like a fireball hitting the outside and then dissipating? But it's magic. I guess it doesn't need to make sense. It's fine. Ooh, it looks like dodging actually drops your crosshair. I hadn't noticed that up to that point. Why are you so crap at killing one guy on the ground? Oh no, he's in a wooden building. We could never get him in there.
Vincent Valentine.
That is indeed his name.
We found you.
Just what this game didn't need, a shitty little kid.
Is this the one?
Yes.
And then the scene just abruptly ends. Alright. It looks like the helicopter has indeed decided to leave us alone because we entered a building. Which it could easily destroy by just firing missiles at it, but... Short barrel lightens a weapon as well as increasing its rate of fire. Now that actually doesn't make sense, but okay. I guess I could make weapon 2 a short barrel, and I'm gonna put the long barrel on weapon 1, which makes its weight even worse. I'll go ahead and put the fire materia on that one as well. Cool. Okay, so yes, as I'm sure you saw me doing in the fight there, I don't need to go into the menu like this to use potions and such, because left on the D-pad scrolls through them. I was under the impression from the tutorial... Why does that occasionally... Huh, that occasionally sounds wrong. I was under the impression from the tutorial that you had to select from like the customized menu, you would pick something to go in this shortcut, but actually you can just scroll through all your items and then right on the D-pad uses it. So that's nice, especially since the menu does not pause the game. That's actually very important. Who are you? Oh, I didn't realize he was quite that tall.
Protomateria.
The what now?
Tell us where it is.
I have no clue what a protomateria is, honestly. Although I know what proto means, and I know what materia is. They don't mean anything to me together.
Vice.
I'm so confused. Ooh, wow, it does affect rate of fire. So we just have a clown car, a guy's coming out this opening? And these two aren't, doing anything? Why does this guy have so much health? What? What is this? He didn't look any different than the others. Alright, are you impressed by my ability to take out your nameless goons? Who are you? Oh, she died.
This way. Luck is on your side.
Yeah, I guess I am lucky your partner has narcolepsy. Also, what are you and how are you that big?
I'm sorry.
we will meet again.
Okay. I mean, you look like the recurring villain type, but what's your deal?
What happened here?
I have no fucking clue. I was hoping you could tell me.
Valentine. Are you all right?
Do I look like I'm not?
Mm-hmm. Reeve. Nice to see you again. Not a very interesting outfit, though.
It took me a while to decide which costume I'd put on for today.
Can we talk about the matter at hand instead of your fucking clothes?
Who are those soldiers that just left?
I don't know. The large one called himself Azul.
Is that Steve Blum? I think it is.
Azul, the Cerulean?
He named himself after his color?
Then that could only mean... Commissioner!
Steve Blum, of course being, God, he's in a bunch of stuff. You probably know him as Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty Zombies. He's the main character in Bulletstorm.
We'll discuss this later. WRO troops...
And then he does additional voices of just like side characters in just like a bajillion things. And let's not forget, he also played the coveted role of shower rapist in Mafia 2.
I like your scars, pretty boy. Reeve. I don't know what you're up to.
I don't know what he's up to either. For having played FF7, I'm surprisingly clueless here.
You fought alongside us 3 years ago. We need your help once more.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
Reeve.
He's dead, Jim. Oh, what? Whoa. I really wasn't expecting that.
That was a close one. I never was good at
Wow.
fighting. Luckily, I came out wearing Reeve.
You actually got me, game. Well done.
Bloke, are you, Vincent? You pretend not to care, but you always come through in the end.
You know, I never imagined Cait Sith with that voice in my head.
What do you want me to do?
Let's run those lads out of town. I'll leave the method up to you. When you've tidied things up, meet me at the square in front of the East Church.
Sorry, that voice has made me need to rethink all of Final Fantasy VII. Admittedly, I don't know what voice I imagined Cait Sith having, because of course the game is all text, but certainly not that one. Which is not to say it's bad, it just caught me off guard. I should probably check all these corners for items. You never know what they're gonna shove around behind some crate. Ooh. Looks like firing actually gives you some lift. Holy crap, it does. That's amazing. So with a fully automatic weapon, could I actually, like, sustain flight? That'd be bizarre, but awesome. You can't dash while reloading, which I suppose makes sense, but is also slightly disappointing. You don't have quite the freedom of movement I would like. Although, admittedly, overall, this actually feels really good. For its era, obviously it still feels stiff compared to something made now, of course. But frankly, this is quite responsive and tight for a PS2 game. Although I get the feeling these enemies are infinitely respawning at this point. Oh, those are friendlies, I think. Sorry, I shot you. Maybe you should have identified yourself before you just barged in like a spaz. Okay, yeah. The zoom, though, is a little more extreme than I would like. I wish it zoomed less, honestly. These sightlines are not nearly long enough for it to need to be that huge of a zoom. I'm out of ammo again. This is going to be a problem, it would seem. Ooh. You can cancel a dash with a melee, though. That's good. So you could use it to close the distance. Excellent. Yeah, this all feels really good, actually.
Mr. Vincent Valentine.
Yeah, that is my name.
I'm an officer with the World Regenesis Organization.
Could you not point that gun at my dick?
Speak with me if you require any assistance.
I would like the assistance of you not pointing that gun at me.
Sir.
Oh, I can just buy stuff from him. This nutritious diet supplement developed by WRO scientists instantly restores a few HP. Again, not very specific. I guess I'll buy all 5 because they apparently cost nothing. Spirit rations. These nutritious diet supplement, it's the same thing but MP. But they're free, so I'll take them. Can sell stuff though. I mean, I could sell the potions because I see so many of them. Sure, I'll sell 4 potions for a fair bit of money. I can just go back into that previous area and there's a bunch lying around. Information on the WRO.
Sir.
Oh, fade to black. Oh, there we go.
WRO was originally established 3 years ago after Meteor Fall. With Genova war hero Reeve at its helm, our organization is dedicated to aiding the healing process of the planet, as well as protecting it from any who attempt further harm.
Mainly, we just wave our guns around at people while we talk to them, and we wear silly hats. Also note that he and I have frozen in time, but that guy to the right, you can clearly see his gun moving. So this hasn't paused time, it has just frozen us.
Over here! Hurry! Wait for me!
Unfortunately, I couldn't buy ammo from him, which I would really like to do. Because that's the thing I actually need right now. Although I'm gonna backtrack to these potions. Or, well, this potion. Oh wait, no, there is one here. I like that little bit there. This triplet-y music is quite nice. Griffon frame obtained. That's the machine gun. Excellent. Machine gun bullets. Alright, let's go to customize. Let's make weapon 3. Oops. Griffon. And we can still do the long and short barrel. I guess normal? Actually, no. Let's do long, because the machine gun has terrible accuracy. And let's see how that works out. That might be a terrible combination, but I guess I'll find out. Stop shooting my peeps. Nothing else, because I don't like listening to her weird anime schoolgirl grunts when she gets hit. I think I just picked up Cerberus relief, but I don't know what that is. Maybe you should take care of yourself next time. Cardkey. I quite like this music. It's got a nice cadence to it. So clearly that cardkey opens that gate back there, but I'm gonna check over here.
All right, men, watch your backs.
Has Alpha Route been secured?
What's Alpha Route?
Safety of the residents is our top priority.
Epic ass cam there. Look at that. And again, they're just standing out in the open, getting wasted. Till I come along and help them out. You guys are not exactly convincing me on your efficacy here.
Sir, thank you for your support, sir.
It's really awkward the way we all just got shot a bunch. Right, that's where I was, so we've just looped around, I guess. Let's go open that door with the card key. And by door, I mean electro fence or whatever it is.
On the roof! Here for backup!
Sniper. Where, oh, there. Let's get my scoped weapon out. Taste the justice. I'm trying. It's not really working. I think he's out of range. Oh, and I'm out of ammo. So much for that. Ooh, there's items there. Although, with the long barrel, the machine gun's actually not as horrible as I thought it would be. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack to that other gate, because there's clearly items behind it. I figured they just led to the same place. And I can't just jump over that. It's weird. For a game that has a not only a jump, but a double jump, it feels very grounded. There's very few things I can jump on. I can't jump over, like, anything. Oh! I actually consumed my card key on the other gate. I didn't realize they were consumable. So apparently, and there's one in there. So apparently I should have opened this first, which would get me that item, and then a second card key to open this other. I didn't realize card keys were consumable, otherwise I would have checked that. I thought as long as I had the right one, I could just, like, open everything that key opens. What is this? Handgun bullets. Oh, thank fuck. What are you doing? You just, standing there checking out that fire? Sure is hot, isn't it? Yeah, you're doing a great job scanning your surroundings. Oh, I can't attack him. That's a shame. We have this gate here that looks kind of out of place. Stylistically very different than its surroundings. Can I just kill you yet? I guess maybe that's what I do here. Apparently, yes. Alright. I guess I'm just blowing off its joints. Oh no, I'm making it tilt so that it reveals its weak point. Fair enough. This is where I might regret selling all my potions. Well, hopefully there's ammo in these, because I'm already low. Which really is turning into a perennial problem. I hope there's upgrades for that later. Alright. Magic. There we go. Which actually does less damage than the gun does. Never mind. Quite a bit less, actually. You know, actually, when I kill this thing, it's probably going to kick me out of the area, so I should just be running around collecting stuff before I finish it off. Like this money. What is this? More just money. Oh, God. Wait, I can't jump over this railing? Oh, God. Well, that's a case in point of what I was talking about earlier. Where it's weird that I have a jump when everything feels so welded to the ground. Alright. Machine gun? Yes. Take it, bitch. Man, it's actually almost comic. Well, not even almost. It is comical how ineffective this thing is. Although I suppose eventually I would run out of healing items. But it certainly won't live long enough to do that. Ooh, I can carry more than one limit breaker, I guess. Just die already. Maybe I should actually use a limit breaker and see what they do. Oh, that was awesome. I don't know how I got up here, but okay. He just has a double jump. He can't fly. Who cares? It looked cool. Now punch it. Or actually just turn into a Galen. Oh yeah, punch it. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, yeah. This is kind of amazing. God, more ass shots. What is this? Ridiculous outfit there. Is there a reason part of your thighs has to be exposed? What's that called? Absolute territory, I believe? How'd you know? Absolute territory is... If you're wearing a skirt, it would be the gap between the end of the skirt and, like, the top of your stockings. So if you're not wearing a skirt, is it considered absolute territory? All right, so is this the real you? Or are you still a cat? What is this camera angle? Nothing, apparently. All right. Should have just started on this shot. All right, make sure everyone's wearing ridiculous hats. We want them all to look like Keebler elves. Well, he actually has a normal beret. He doesn't look ridiculous. Why does everyone else have a Keebler elf hat?
Good work, Vincent. The enemy is retreating. It seems they have finally begun their withdrawal from Calm.
Good.
However, we still require your assistance. Reports our edge is under attack.
Tim Langdell claims he owns it. Not that Vincent has anything to say about that. Gotta say, so far I'm loving this, actually. It's smooth, it feels good, it looks great. Well, I sucked on damage sustained, but that's not surprising. And time, that's also not surprising. Because I'm actually, like, looking around at stuff. Saved civilians, 22 out of 25. Yeah, the other 3 were because I didn't realize my gun had less range than I thought. Locate the card keys. Yeah, the one I missed is the one behind the gate that I couldn't open. Meh, not bad. I would have absolutely loved this game at the time, I have to say. I mean, I'm loving it now. It feels great, looks great, it's got good music. But man, if I had played this in 2006, or thereabouts, at the age I was back then rather than the age I am now, I would have thought this was the coolest shit ever. Like, seriously. Unfortunately, I did not own a PS2 at the time. I did not own a PS2 until 2014, I believe. So, apologies for the terrible video and audio quality, because this is just my phone, but I thought it might be interesting to show you just how much faffery can be involved in something even as seemingly simple as just a shot of a mouse. So, I'm recording the footage you will have already seen, which is the mouse overlaid on footage of Quake 2. But I have to record that. So, what I have done, first of all, is the game has to be running. It's running on a Windows 7 PC back there. Old-ass PC in a Cooler Master Storm Scout case. I built that computer in 2011, although it has a GPU from 2012 in it. Very, very up-to-date computer, clearly. And so then that's running to this main monitor. But that computer is so old, it's not powerful enough, really, to record the footage in software and run the game. So I'm actually recording the output, the HDMI output of that PC, into a capture device. That capture device is then passing through to this monitor, which is what this is. But then the capture device is plugged into my Mac, which is running this monitor here, and that's my capture software there. And of course, I'm also running a software keyboard, because the only keyboard I have is plugged into the Windows computer. And if I switch it to Bluetooth to type on the Mac, and then switch back to the cord to control the game, Windows usually fails to recognize that, and you have to unplug and replug it a million times until Windows suddenly decides there's a keyboard. And remember, Windows 7 was one of the good ones. So I just have to type with a virtual keyboard with a trackpad, and it's horrible. But the file's already named, so I shouldn't really need to do that. So then you put a camera, you try to get a tripod on your fucking desk, and it doesn't quite fit. So you have to move your monitor. So now the azimuth is completely fucked, because of course my speakers are set up to a fraction of an inch for correct azimuth. And now that's completely fucked because one of the tripod legs had to go past it and is currently extended out onto a paint bucket because it wouldn't reach the floor. So I'm going to have to fix this speaker placement later. And then you have lights set up. Got a light panel here. Got another light panel on the other side. Cardboard blocking my fish tank because it's currently 11 p.m. and my fish are trying to sleep. And yeah, so I then have the headphone out of my interface, which is recording the audio going into the capture software. The headphone out of that is going into the line in on the Blackmagic camera so that the game audio is in the video file, which will allow me to record, to synchronize the mouse recording with the game footage, because the same audio will be going into both. And yes, this is a 12mm, this is the Panasonic 12mm f1.4, although I'm running in Super 16 crop, so it's a longer equivalent focal length than normal, which is why the camera's farther away than you might expect for that shot at 12mm. Unfortunately, these lights here are kind of in my peripheral vision while I'm sitting at the desk trying to play the game. So the cherry on top of all of this is that I taped playing cards, or more specifically, the Texas Hold'em instructions from a set of playing cards to the sides of my glasses to form blinders. And to think I could have done something actually productive with my life.